Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday. What's going on here? It's KVJ After the Show podcast.
Yeah!
Such a crazy little world. Boy, just a couple minutes ago, I was heading out to the bathroom. Before I did it, took a little swig of my drink that I have over here, and I swallowed crooked. And I'm like, but I'm like going down the hall, and the last thing I want to do is cough.
Oh,
but
no.
Have you ever swallowed crooked and you're trying to clear out your throat? But I'm trying not to make any noise like I'm coughing, so I'm...
It's rough, man.
Ralston, it's a terrible time to cough. You got to duck back in a room and not cough.
Terrible.
You got to punch yourself in the stomach just to get something else going on.
Yes.
Anything, yeah. It really is the craziest thing. I mean, it's just our whole world is upside down. The thing that, it is such a really true analogy is that we used to cough to cover a fart, and now we honestly do fart to cover a cough because it's the worst thing you could do. Cough or sneeze. People lose their mind. It's unbelievable.
I'm still going to be bummed out, though, if you fart on me. I will not be cool with that.
What would you rather have, fart or a cough?
Man, I still kind of want the cough. I don't know.
Really? Okay.
A fart from a stranger, it's pretty gnarly. And I believe our resident Corona fact checker over here, Virginia, said that you can get the coronas from a fart.
Let's just assume you can, because we don't know for sure. So, yeah, you can get it from a fart. Let's just assume you can get it from everything and everyone and go through life assuming everyone has it.
That's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, people sending a lot of different emails our way. A lot of things related about what's going on in their life. This one is from Matt D. in Fort Pierce. Said, so every time I get current with your show, I go back to the oldest podcast and start listening to them all again. And on 12/19/19, Kevin's talking about how wars used to wipe out a lot of people and wonder what Earth's capacity was when Jason said, and I'm still waiting for one of those old-timey type plagues to hit. Coincidence? I think not.
Oh, Lord.
I hope to hear you read this when I get current again. Love you guys. Stay safe. And Jerby, go fuck yourself.
Yes. I
He
shall.
fucked himself all weekend.
Yeah.
Funny you bring
A
it
lot.
up.
I'm not
A
the
lot.
only one. Guarantee if you ask Suits, I'm sure he's limping around today, too.
I wonder if we could get a count.
No. So I saw that on Reddit. Somebody was asking how many times, what's the most you've jerked off during the quarantine? Some cat answered 11 times.
11?
Now, I don't know if that's real.
Okay, so you're over under 10 for the weekend.
It's under.
It's under 10.
Yeah, it's under.
5?
That's about right.
Okay.
Do
Just want to get
make-
an average here.
Do you ever make eye contact with your dog while you're doing it?
No, I don't do that downstairs.
Wouldn't matter.
Just asking.
Yeah, he's blind, first of all.
Yeah.
And I'm quiet when I jerk, so he won't hear anything.
Okay.
I hold in my moans. I'm respectful.
Jaybirds muffled masturbation noises.
Well, when my dad lived with me, you do got to change up your masturbating techniques if you got a parent there. It's nice to be free. It's nice to be alone.
Yeah, I get it.
No, I mean,
I wonder if your dad was jerking off too.
All
'cause
right.
When he was there.
all right, take it easy, just in case he's listening right now.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Pennington. I'm just worried.
But now I'm curious. Your dad texted me.
I want to make sure you're healthy. They say it's good for guys.
It is good for guys. Get a guy that hasn't jerked off and talk to him in a year and he hasn't jerked off. That person is walking around literally with a loaded gun. They are just mentally out of
Just
it.
ready to go, huh? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm sure a lot of people are doing that. I had so many people talk about, we had a lot of wives or just ladies saying that their guy was all over them. And this one woman, she was afraid because she's like, my husband starts working from home today. He said he's going to bang me at least 3 times a day.
Oh, my God.
And she's just like, I'm like,
You said Panda was very randy?
Very charged up.
Okay, now, does he get denied or does he ever get Is it like 50%?
We did it Friday. He was trying to make it happen yesterday, but it just didn't work. You know, I've got a very, very, very active 4-year-old, and it is tricky.
Okay.
Rocco is a different breed. He doesn't like to go to bed, and we got to wait till he goes to bed. So then by the time Rocco's tired, then I'm tired. It's a whole thing.
It is a to-do.
It's a to-do.
Okay.
But we managed to bang it out Friday night. So
Okay.
He's got one.
he got one. He's averaging about one per weekend.
So once a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once a week. That's just interesting.
That's pretty good considering, how freaked out you've been and everything.
Right, because I have
Yeah.
to get in a whole different frame of mind. I have to try to forget about the coronavirus.
I'm sure that's just a great round of sex.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
I have to pretend like the coronavirus is not happening. So yeah, it's like
Well,
crazy.
Then you know what you could do? You could use that into some role playing for the scenario. Panda just came up with a vaccine. He's the doctor. You're the first patient testing out the vaccine. You can make this fun.
It can be only administered vaginally.
I'm just saying.
The vaccine.
I'm saying if you flip it and you change your perspective, it could be fun in the moment.
Okay. I have trouble flipping my perspective with everything. So I'll try. Thank you.
I'm just trying to be positive.
That's all you got to do.
appreciate
That's all you can do,
it.
Some
right?
people, and I'm not talking about you because I think you do appreciate it.
I do
but
appreciate it.
Some people, they don't like a positive outlook on shit sometimes.
It's hard for me to get positive, but I appreciate it because I need it. And I know you're coming from a place of love. I would never get mad at you for trying to be positive. I think that's ridiculous.
I'd like to actually, maybe we can play the full unedited version of Stay the Fuck at Home.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Just be careful. Can we get kicked off the internet for that?
I don't know. Suits, what is the call on that? A guy who made a video that he's put out, would that be something that would get us kicked off of YouTube if we played it?
I don't know. I just
We can play it? I'm getting a thumbs up
Beautiful.
from the very smart gentleman that we have sitting in there. I thought it was a very good song. There's been some that have been and they usually are, but I thought this was pretty good and pretty poignant and to the point as well. This guy really he's a talented dude too. Very nice beard. Did you see the guy?
Yes.
I did. I love his piano playing. I love all of it. It's kind of a throwback song.
I love his
Yeah.
aura. I love his feisty spiciness.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things with this song here. Stay the fuck at home. Okay, let's see here. Why would this not be playing? I'm wondering. Hey, Dennis, can you tell me why this would not be playing? That's on. This is on. That's on. That's good. I'm not hearing this. You know why I wouldn't be hearing this? There's no mute there. That's on. That's there. Everything's on. Is there something that I'm not seeing here?
No,
Is the volume up on YouTube?
that's the only. In the
The
volume's up.
Yeah, volume's up. Yeah. Well, yeah. You got technical little workarounds, huh? Why don't you? Oh, we got two of them.
We'll edit all
That's
this out.
not working either. Yeah, you never know the technical issues here. We always get fun little snafus. Hey, let's try something a little bit crazy here today. Nope, ain't gonna work.
Like crazy, like play audio.
Yeah.
Or answer a phone. We're gonna get fucking crazy today.
Yeah, I don't. We have no technical difficulty. We have to have people come in and look at. So.
Well, I think don't we have it up somewhere so people can check it out?
We'll get it here. I'll have Denny's loaded on a different piece of equipment. We'll see if that piece of equipment works, and if that doesn't, then we'll move on to another piece of equipment. Hopefully, eventually, we can find something that will play audio around here. You would hope at a radio station we could do that.
Don't hold your breath, though.
I'm not. We do have a couple extra column outs here today. Said, I would like to call out the assholes leaving gloves and masks all over the ground in various parking lots. Stop being a piece of shit and making the pollution problem even worse. I haven't seen that. Are people really doing that?
Throw your glove in the trash. Don't leave it on the parking lot floor. I haven't seen any of that, but I'm sure people are doing that.
Okay. All right.
I haven't seen it, but doesn't mean it's not out there.
I hear you. Employers getting called out, too. Some of them are doing it really well, and some of them are not making their employees happy at all. So I guess it just kind of depends. upon what you're talking about. Somebody said, I want to call out my employer. I work at a local hospital, and while the nurses and doctors are in the front line, they have a team of people behind them. They're the janitors and unit secretaries and admitting and billing. And while the volume of work is the same, if not more, my employer has cut our hours to 24 hours a week. With most of us don't have enough PTO, so we are getting paid part-time hours. My bills are still the same, but my check is now half. They say they are doing this to limit our exposure. Well, then let us work from home like the other hospitals have done, or allow us to borrow PTO time like I know a lot of companies are doing. They're doing this to work the numbers in their budget and don't care if we can pay our bills or not, yet we go in 3 days a week and expose ourselves. Those are some of the ins and outs of companies and what's going on. I think companies, nobody has any kind of playbook on how to do this. And I think that's just it. A lot of companies are having to think on the fly. Some people do it well, and some companies do not. And that's just really kind of, I think, where you are with a lot of this stuff. Because nobody had a pre-existing plan on, okay, what happens when we shut down all of America and some people can work and some can't?
I still think that Jared Leto story, or is that his name?
Yeah.
He was meditating out in the desert for 2 weeks.
He went out into the middle of nowhere with no phone, no nothing.
To get centered, man.
Yeah, to become one with the earth and with the mind and body, spirit.
I'm going to do so many projects when I get back. What the fuck?
Yeah.
When he came back
What a
out,
twist.
Global epidemic?
What?
New York
What a
shut
twist.
down?
and he doesn't seem like he would take it well. He looks like a little too fragile to be able to handle the details when they hit you with a ton of bricks of them.
Oh, man.
It's tough for a lot of people, yeah. KVJ Nationer John D sent an email, so wondering what Kevin and Jaybird's opinions are on this. I think I know V's. So my mom wants to do Easter next weekend with all the family, about 15 to 20 of us, due to the federal guidelines being extended. I've told her that I think this getting together is socially irresponsible, and I don't think we should. Now, my grandpa just lost my grandma this past year, and he's getting older. She says he needs these family get-togethers. What are your thoughts? I just think we should all do our part. What makes my family special? If Americans act like this as a whole, thinking it doesn't apply to each person's get-together, then we are doing the right thing. This sucks. It sucks, but I, for one, don't want to pick up the virus at the grocery store, go to this party, give it to my family, possibly kill a family member, then spread it more.
You're exactly right. Your mom's blowing it on this one.
Possible positive. Maybe Grandpa will see Grandma sooner.
Yeah. If you're okay with killing Grandpa, have Easter.
Kevin, I love that optimistic outlook.
Well, I'm just trying to look on the bright side of life.
That's what we need. We need more positivity.
And I even got a song for you.
Thank you to Chris Franklin for these lyrics. The world has caught a virus, so I've written you a poem. We need your help to cure it, so stay the fuck at home. And if you have got 12 kids or you're living on your own, lock it down and isolate and stay the fuck at home. If you think you're not at risk here, you're living in a dome. It spreads faster than a hooker's leg, so stay the fuck at home. I need the gym, I need the beach, I hear you bitch and moan. You need to grow a brain cell and stay the fuck at home. But I feel fine, I don't feel sick. I'll go out on my own. How thick are you, you selfish prick? Please just stay the fuck at home. From LA through to Berlin, from Wuhan to Rome, there's people dying every day, so stay the fuck at home. If you need to contact family, use Facebook, Skype, or phone. We've got the fucking internet, so stay the fuck at home. The only way to slow it down is isolate, not roam. Please help the world get back on track and stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home, stay the fuck at home. Don't you be a fucking dick, please stay the fuck at home.
Yeah.
Stay the fuck at home.
That's right. There you
That
go.
guy's got great ragtime voice.
He does.
Is that ragtime?
I don't know if it's ragtime, but
It's old sounding,
yeah.
like bar, like old saloon shit.
You know what it is? It's piano bar.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's piano bar sing-along.
I miss all those piano bars. They were so popular in the late 90s, early 2000s.
They were.
And I feel like they've kind of gone away unless you're in a very big city and it's a specific destination.
Yeah.
They were all over
They
the
were
place.
hot, and then they just kind of fizzled, and then it became like breweries.
Well, but there was one in Jupiter called Bogart's. I don't know if you guys had ever gone to that one, but it was always packed.
We went to Hugh Jorgen's.
Yeah, in Delray.
That was packed always too.
Yeah.
I love those kind of bars, man.
Yeah, they were a big thing there for a while, like in the early 2000s.
I wonder why they went away.
People just get like
I think
sick
the only
of stuff.
it's kind of like an act.
Yeah.
And once you see it, you're like, okay, that's great, but when you go back, it's a lot of the same things.
You got to be churning out a lot of new material.
Well, yeah, it's not, and that too, but it's also one of those things you probably would only go to maybe once a year, and you have to have a lot of influx of new people. Like, I could just see people getting burned on it super fast.
Yeah, you don't go every Friday.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
Let's go again. Let's go again.
That's where a lot of the chicks are at, Virginia. Going to Bogart's, man. That's where the chicks are. Panda was probably involved in a few of those
I'm
trips.
sure that puss hound was right there with you. Trying to catch a fish.
Former puss hound. He's,
I don't know. He's still hounding.
he's domesticated now.
He's domesticated. He's only got one that he can catch, but he certainly chases it around the house a lot.
Nah.
Don't bend over to pick up nothing.
Michelle S. in Coral Springs sent an email, said, thanks for keeping us laughing in this crazy moment. I have a question for Virginia. I know she's Catholic, so is her church doing a palm distribution for Palm Sunday via drive-thru? What about Easter Sunday? Will they give her communion via the drive-thru as well? Just wondering because that is what our church will be doing.
Well, if mine is, I ain't going because I'm going to stay the fuck at home.
Yeah.
Stay the fuck at home.
Jesus will understand that I'm going to stay the fuck at home.
Saw in New York City, they were going through and actually physically shutting down. The police were going in and shutting down church services. They were like going, get out, not happening, not doing it. I know they're trying drive-through measures to do this.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah.
It's a different day.
Yeah.
It's a different time.
There's just a lot of ways you could spread
There's
stuff that way still.
plenty of places. The church, Mary Mother of the Light, where we go in Tequesta, they are doing live feeds of Mass. So you can see it live. You can Facebook Live. You can be there without being there. You can't get your palm. You can't get your communion. You can't sip out of that nasty-ass wine cup. When, really, why would you want to sip out of that cup anyway?
I know that you're against pretty much anybody getting together. What are you against these kind of things? I've seen a lot of it, of people doing these parades and getting people together, and they're in cars and driving by stuff and talking.
No, I'm not against that as long as everybody stays 10 feet away from each other.
Okay. Yeah, there are ways that you can do all that kind of stuff. And
Yes.
people are finding creative ways to do it.
I think-
Maintain distance.
You can maintain distance and be safe. Absolutely.
Okay. Let me see here. Got a little bit more. She said, I also watched her video with the family over the weekend and made me belly laugh. First thing Rocco says is the F word. It was too funny. Vicious V, do not panic. We're all going through this. As long as you practice the safety guidelines, you will be fine. Thanks again for the laughs. So there you go. Thank you very much.
Like of our box.
Stay the fuck at home.
More Uno to follow this week. I mean, so far, everybody in the family has a win except me.
Really?
Yeah, the tournament's going into day 4. Panda currently has the belt, and he's rubbing it in everybody's face. So we are definitely
It's getting intense, huh?
having an intense moment in our house, yes, over this Uno belt. He's very cocky.
Okay. All
I
right.
think me and Denny's might draw today, but then I'm like, Denny's, I don't think anybody wants to see that bullshit. But I think we're going to color.
Okay.
I don't think people aren't that bored, right? They don't want to see that.
Why don't you do the video game thing?
That feels more like a week 10 thing.
A week 10? Because we both been wanting to fucking paint and draw.
All right.
Well, not now, we don't.
Yeah, if you're looking for stuff to do, a couple of things to check out here. Becky said macaronikid.com. This might be good for you, Jay Bird. And hulafrog.com have tons of links, apps, and ideas for educational entertainment. You can also go to scholastic.com, nationalgeographickids.com, brainpopjunior.com, starfall.com, and pbskids.com.
Also, you can go to the Every Parent website as well, everyparentpbc.org. They have a ton of ideas and tips, especially if you're struggling, with maybe trying to homeschool or getting into all that. There's a bunch of tips.
Okay.
Everyparentpbc.org.
A lot of stuff to do. A lot of advice out there. Ernie let us know, too, because we were talking about custody issues that might come up with the coronavirus. And here's the thing, too. It seems like what might be happening in some cases, there's a couple different weird scenarios that I guess I didn't think about that we had to deal with in the last couple of weeks here. One was... the kids going back and forth, and we had one lady that tried to pick up her kids, and her, I think it was her boyfriend or fiance is a paramedic, and her ex is like, you're not taking the kids, you're not going to see the kids because you've been exposed to somebody that's a paramedic. And I even saw, I think it was in New York, that paramedics are getting the coronavirus like crazy now.
Oh, man.
And he's like, no, it's not going to happen. And so she was, didn't have money because she's currently laid off, and so she's wanting some free legal advice on what to do. And Ernie, he just said, for any parents who are struggling with parenting plans this time, I'm a single dad living with 2 kids here in Jupiter, and their mom lives across the state. My attorney forwarded me this email. It has some guidance on dealing with parenting plans during the outbreak on what you can do. So there is family law section, Florida law, maybe some ways to kind of like communicate and figure out what you're going to do with the kids. But, that's sometimes the situation, too. There was somebody else who... Like right now, they had to choose, do I want to stay with my current girlfriend or stay with my kids? I've seen some really heartbreaking photos of some parents that, are some basically first responders that are doctors, nurses, and whatnot, can't see their kids. And so, there's a photo of a dad who is like a nurse, and he's on the other side of a glass door, greeting his kid, and he can't until this whole thing is over. How long is that going to be? He's probably looking at months before he can actually physically touch or kiss his kid.
Months. Yeah, you're right.
And so they're dealing with that. So imagine that, where you have to choose basically right now the quarantine group you're going to be around. Are you going to choose your kids, your biological kids, but that means maybe staying in the same house with your ex-wife, which is one guy was dealing with, or do you stay in the house with your girlfriend? Can you imagine trying to make that choice?
No.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on that, especially if you're talking about, okay, I can't be going back and forth. Dang. So, a lot of tough decisions you got to make.
Very.
Including this one. This is a very tough decision. Do you get just the single box? Do you get the jumbo box? Or do you get the double-decker Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie?
That's the shit I'm talking about. I get the double decker.
Okay, you go just double decker.
I mean, if I'm planning just to throw caution to the wind and get all fat and sassy, yeah, I'm gonna eat that 490 calorie oatmeal cream pie. I think you're gonna feel a stomach ache though. That's a lot of cream.
That's a lot of pie.
It's a lot of pie.
Yeah.
You got to be serious.
I'd rather you slap me than eat that.
Oh, I just oatmeal cream pies though.
It'd be
good.
delicious. That'd be fun.
Sometimes
That's too much.
You can warm them up too, Fat Kevin. If you put them on the griddle, make them just a little bit warm.
If you put them in your pants and leave them there for a little bit.
That's the natural way. It's still warm. It still gets that cream wet. You're warm. I mean,
you might get a pube on it, but
no, you get a package on it. You don't unpack it and put it in your pocket unless you are in desperate times.
Okay. The snack bracket, by the way, is up, and you got Snickers against Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. That is for the championship, KVJshow.com. Go and vote on that while that is still up and happening, because I don't know how long it's going to be there.
So you want to do what, cereal next? Next tournament?
Next March? Yeah, I know. That's kind of it. It's just really kind of sad. I mean, there's a lot of people that are looking for alternatives because, I mean, it's just crazy to think that sports, aren't around right now, that you didn't have a men's basketball tournament, that spring training didn't happen, that, polo's not happening, Sunfest is not going to happen. It's just, I mean, a lot of stuff's kind of blowing my mind.
Well, if you want to see some sports, I think me and Denny's going to play some Connect 4 I think I'm going to beat his ass in some basketball video game style because I can't go out like how he beat my ass Mortal Kombat on Saturday. He played me in Mortal Kombat and destroyed me. I mean, just fucking.
Well, he plays a lot. I think he's going to destroy you in everything.
He won't destroy me in basketball. He won't destroy me. He won't destroy me in basketball.
Okay.
Denny's, I hope you're listening, bitch.
Bitch.
Someone's awful bold over here. I think Denny's just logs more hours. It's about practice, bro.
It is, and I realize that. That's why I stay away from video games, because I know that I'm one of those people, like I'm that way right now, where it's like my son whooped my ass in Connect 4, and I sat there and worked on strategies.
You studied the game.
I studied the game, and I've been whooping his ass now, and it feels so. I can't.
But you're right, though.
But you put the time in.
I put the time in till I could get back and like reclaim the throne, and now I'm consistently beating him almost every time, and now he doesn't want to play. So I'm like, but that's the way I want it.
In your face, kid.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago, remember me telling you guys how I was into this baseball game, and I made the character, and it was Jason Pennington.
Yes.
He played third base. I put a lot of time, and I put some money into that person. And
you bought all this virtual stuff.
It can get away from you because I was trying to win a World Series, and then I was putting it on the easy level so I can actually win something.
You do.
It felt good to win, man.
And now I've been playing that family car game, and I've been finishing last every time. And I'm like, oh, it drive me crazy. And now I'm thinking, I will probably at least spend 30 minutes today going through that game to try to be like, okay, here's how I could maybe do a little bit better.
What are the techniques of 21? Yeah. Can you do the research on that like you did on Connect 4?
And my son Cannon's really good. And he's the one that's always winning. And I'm like going, is he cheating? Or is he just always getting lucky with the cards? Like, what's going on here?
He's a kid. You're a grown-ass man.
I know.
You're way smarter. You've been through way more shit in your life.
Right.
If he can figure this game out, you can figure it out.
I want that kid bad in Connect 4. I mean, I can taste it, Ralston.
Yeah, I hear you.
Don't taste his kid.
Yes.
I can taste the victory. I need it. After getting so much loss over on Saturday.
Yeah, what?
Denny's beat you too much. Now you got to go after the children.
Well, not only was Denny's beating me, the entire chat room was just like, "Fuck you, Bert! You're mashing down the wrong buttons." They were messing around. They weren't really, but they were being video game dicks.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to. Maybe we can work something out. You come over and play Cannon, Connect 4, and then the Madden. You play that every now and then, right? Football?
I can play basketball. I can play the sport games. And
okay.
Baseball, I could legit possibly beat your son.
Okay, yeah. He hasn't played that in a while. He's mainly basketball, football, but he used to play that a good bit. He would whoop my ass in that. That would be so frustrating. So I'd love to see you whoop his ass.
I want it.
Astro in the chat room had asked earlier, he said, Kevin, can you talk about what you think will happen in sports? Like, will there be an NBA playoffs, an NHL playoffs, MLB season, golf masters, et cetera, this season? You think the NFL fall season is happening? You know, I was reading earlier, and it was some people that study disease, and they were talking about all the different options and what could happen and how soon we could, get back to some normalcy in life. And the best case scenario was 1 to 2 months. And Kirk Herbstreit, who knows a thing or two about college football, said he would be shocked if we have a college football season. And that just was like, wow. That to me was like, crap, that's insane. Now, the one thing is, I just wonder how long before, because right now we see people resistant to going out. If the disease starts to flatten out a bit, how successful will authorities be at keeping people at home and not having some of these things happening?
Well, I think if that starts to happen and they see it on the downward curve, aren't they going to start lightening up on stuff?
They will, and I think the question will be how much. And I think it would be interesting to see if we get to a point where it's not just everybody go run around. There might be some concessions that are made. Remember, before they, postponed the NBA season, they were talking about playing games with nobody in the arenas. And I wonder if on that, as we start creeping back into it, that might be the play. Where, okay, we don't feel really good about having 17,000 people sit side by side, but people playing on the court and with testing and a little bit more of a controlled environment, that's
months down the line.
That's not as chaotic as just opening up an arena with 20,000 people.
That may be what we ease back into eventually.
Right. Now, that might be insane to imagine if that happens with college and NFL football. But I would take that, a stadium that's empty, and just players out there playing over not having it at all.
Sure. If all the, the health organizations and the people that are running the medical side of this were to say, yeah, you guys can have football with no people watching in the stands, you're cool, then yeah.
And I think what I'm talking about with that, it would have to be, there were 4 scenarios that came out of the Atlantic when they talked to some epidemiologists. And the 3 to 4 month scenario would be this. And this is where we start realizing, and like especially right now in Florida, I think, here in South Florida especially, pretty much all the deaths have been pretty old people, well over 65. I was looking at some of the ages. I'm like, okay, that's 80, that's 80, that's 80, that's 80. And the 3 to 4 month scenario says that if we learn that lots of people have gotten the virus, have worked through it with minor symptoms and developed immunity, then we can isolate clusters or at-risk people as others get back to normal. I told you my dad, who's over 65, he's like, you know what? He's like, I think we should get to a place where everybody just, us old people, we'll quarantine ourselves. We'll take care of ourselves. Anybody who's younger and is not worried about it, then, let them go out and run around the world. Now, right now, that's not the best scenario. But if we get to it and they start realizing, like I saw, it looks like Prince Charles is, crawling out. Tom Hanks is back in the States. You're starting to see some younger people that are recovering. And if that happens more frequently in 3 to 4 months, then maybe we start doing what I was talking about. They say, hey, look, still older people need to quarantine themselves. We'll start opening up the world a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whatever the professionals tell us to do, that's what we should do.
Nobody,
and you can't predict the future.
No one knows.
And you also can't say when it's going to stop or when it's going to end. It's just every day you got to just do what the experts are advising.
Yeah, and so nobody knows, but those are the experts' 4 possible scenarios. So it's 1 of 4, and the last one is not great because that one is not very it's at least 18 months or longer until they get some kind of vaccine and around the world. And that one would suck. And that means,
would suck.
That means possibly multiple years of no college football. Couldn't even imagine, Virginia.
Oh, man, the Buckeyes would have to wait 2 years to cheat. Damn.
Well, the cycle is they could be good for the next 2 years. So knowing my luck, they'll miss the next 2 seasons, and then they'll come back in year 3 and suck.
They have a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, they'll lose 8 games. It'd be terrible. Oh, man. I got a shout out from Tucson. Caitlin said, hey, you recently asked both Virginia and Jaybird who won the Super Bowl. And honestly, my first response to that question was Shakira. Felt like she won the Super Bowl. I'm kind of surprised that Jaybird didn't get that because of that.
I am so sorry because you're right. She did win. She outperformed J-Lo in my opinion.
I prefer J-Lo, but that's me. I thought they both did great.
I love that part.
Yeah. Wasn't she one of the people, she was one of the people you mentioned when asked which celebrity would you like to spend quarantine with?
Yeah.
When you did that bit a little bit ago.
I would, absolutely. She's married, but yeah, I would like that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even have to, it would just be about snuggling.
Okay.
Don't even have to be sexual, Virginia.
Okay. No one believes you, but all right. Pinocchio, your nose is growing.
We got a couple doppelgangers here. Roberto said, this guy kind of looks like Jaybird. He's the 877 Windows guy. Okay.
I can
That's a young early 20s bird.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then James sent this in from Stewart. I saw this. I swear this is Jaybird. Maybe this is his small penis dating site profile pic.
By the way, Dinky 1, I am very popular on that site.
Oh,
I'm getting so
you're getting so many messages. Well, I built you a nice profile.
You didn't? Yeah, you did. you put the work in.
Mm-hmm. And I said maybe this is Jason Sassy or doppelganger. There you go, right there.
That does not look like
Nah, that's a stretch. On that.
He's too old. And the other guy was too young. You're in the middle.
So there you go. All right. So thank you very much for all of the emails that you got for us. We're all going through this together, just trying to figure it all out. Talked a little bit about the takeout that is available for everybody. Did a little bit of that this weekend. Drive-thrus as well. Buzz Chicken and Seafood, one of those places you can check out, hook up with. So definitely go and see one of their 6 locations.
We hit it up. We got the Quickie Feast.
That's a good one.
Yeah, all the kids loved it.
Highly recommend get multiple different types of sauce. That's important, I think.
The sauce, the sides. I mean, their mac and cheese might be the best mac and cheese in the game.
Very good. That's his mac of choice.
So good. The chicken sandwich was great. They really knocked it out of the park.
We love you, buds.
All right, so go check it out and get some good hot food today. We'll see y'all later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.